All right, so in the last video, we got this thing running. Now, we need to tidy this thing up. So I want to take it outside and pressure wash it, and we'll pull the plastics off. But first thing I want to do is get this rack straightened out if we can. Really, we should heat it up, but I don't really have anything to heat it up with, but we'll try this first. We're bending our pipe. Now the next best one to use is your pipe from your jack. Let's see what happens here. It's close, closer than it was. Okay, I got most of it torn down here. Now, this, I'm trying to get the bumper off. And it looks like this bumper was full of water and froze up. See, I can't get my socket on this nut or this bolt right there versus this one looks like that. So, pretty sure some water was stuck in there and froze over. So I'm having a hard time getting this out. Okay, I finally got the bumper off, and I got the plastics off. I got everything off, and I rolled it out here. And I think we're gonna soak it down with some go-go juice. You know, I was looking at buying some tires for this thing, but they all hold air. They got a little bit of dry rot on them, but I don't know. I think we'll just ride it a couple times, see how it does before I spend $200 or $300 on that. I think we do need a new steering stem because there's a bunch of slop, and it's not the tie rod ends because you can see this flag right here. You can see me turning the steering stem there. And I found one for like $20 shipped. So I think I'm gonna grab that off the internet, off eBay. What else? My cover was cracked, my CVT cover. So I think I'm gonna get that too because I found one of those for like $30 shipped. What else we need? We need brakes. We need a new brake master cylinder. I'm thinking about doing LED headlights. Just kind of chop this crap off and just mount some 4-inch LEDs in the plastics. Now, plastics aren't terrible. I did end up freaking doing this because the bolt was stripped. I couldn't get it out, so I tried to just grind the head off, but of course, you know, that made it hot. Yeah, I'd like to just put some like 4-inch LEDs in here or something. The plastics are cracked here. I think we can fiberglass them back to straightness, hopefully. There's also a break right here. I think we can add some fiberglass there and make it better. You can see, they must have been like this for so long that the plastics have just bent into that shape because they really need to be about like that. Or maybe we're missing a piece. I don't think so. Maybe we are. And I don't think I'm gonna use the automotive paint on this one. I think I'm gonna use just some Krylon Fusion paint. I'm trying to look at the back here. I don't think the backs did have this crack right here, so we can fix that up from the back side. Okay, so this thing's been drying off. The engine actually came out pretty good. I used a bunch of stuff to try and clean it up, some aluminum brightener. But I went to Lowe's and we got a bunch of spray paint and we got some rust remover. This stuff works like miracles. So we're just gonna go over, check out like the rust that's on here. You can definitely see rust on the exhaust. It's not too rusty, but there's some rust in there. And the thing I like about this stuff is it's safe on freaking paint too. You can see down there, it's a little rusty looking. A little rusty looking on the A-arms here. So we are just gonna spray away. All right, so I'm not trying to get super crazy on this thing. I'm probably already doing more than I need to on this four-wheeler. We're just gonna hit this front bumper with some truck bed liner coating stuff. Yeah, I could sand it down, but whatever. It's the next day here. I already stripped all the green paint off of these back fenders, and I actually even did a little test of the red spray paint I got, the Fusion. You can't really see. I sanded it again since, but it's not too far off from the OEM color. So anyways, this is the front plastics. I need to hit them with the stripper. Yeah, so these are the front plastics. This is the stripper I use on the back. And we're just gonna spray this on, let it soak, and then we pressure wash it off. Okay, I've rolled this baby in the shop and I touched up some more paint. It's still a little wet. But I've been putting off doing this top end because, you know, it runs and it smokes, but, you know, it runs fine. But I don't want to take this thing all back apart. You know, it's not that easy getting the plastics off. So I went ahead and took the carburetor off. I mean, it actually looks relatively straightforward. I got to take the shifter off there. Need to drain the coolant, and this head mount really looks like the biggest hurdle in maybe getting the exhaust off. The top mount's off. I made the discovery that there is no coolant in here when I took this drain off. So who knows what that means. So I think next thing I need to do is take off the exhaust bolts. Wish me luck here. This could be questionable. Okay. This timing cover off, this top cam cover off. 2.5. Look at that. That's a motor. Break that loose just so when we put it back on. We'll try the baby impact first. Let's try this. We can take off the cam gear. Now we got the center bolt out. And I probably should put a zip tie on that. Yeah, so I'll take this gear out real quick, the timing gear. And we will put a zip tie on the chain just in case it falls down in, which it will inevitably do. Yeah, those aren't tight. Start taking off our head bolts, which look to be like a 14 millimeter. Okay, so the head should be loose now. But like I said, we need to take off a couple hoses. Ooh, man, these are some long head bolts. And it looks like the head bolts hold down the cylinder and everything. I'm not sure if we got a good angle here, but this one doesn't want to come all the way out. There we go. Next thing is gonna be this hose clamp, which is barely even, it's broken. We're gonna have to use a new clamp on this. You could take those Allen heads off, but that's another gasket we'd have to replace probably. I wonder if it'll go now. Okay. Exhaust is out of the way. Where did my pry bar go? Here comes the head. All right. Soak all this water up that's in here. Do any of these, this timing guide comes out. Here's the head gasket. This one yellow timing guide slides out. Captain Obvious, we have another hose here. Okay, those screws are out. They had Loctite. Okay, so first look at our cylinder. It looks awesome. It looks to be in great shape. And of course you can see where it's been wearing. You know, but it doesn't have any grooves in it that would be causing any issues. I'm gonna check it over a little bit more. Piston out here. And I mean, this sucker was running good. I mean, not a whole bunch of carbon on top. I mean, I think maybe it's, I don't know, did it suck in water maybe? It definitely needed rings, that's for sure. I think it had a lot of hours on it because there's a pretty good ridge here in the top of the cylinder. Right here. I mean, usually those don't scare me, but that one feels relatively considerable amount. Let's take this ring off here. Oh yeah. Look at the width of the ring there versus here. Here, I'll measure it. 3.2 millimeters. And over here is 3.3, which that's not as bad as I thought it was. Let's go to the top ring. Over here, it's 2.8. And over here, it's 2.2. Yeah, definitely that one. For sure. So it looks like Amazon's here. I'm trying to think what they're bringing me. Oh, they're bringing me headlights. Yeah, so I will be honest that I am a little concerned about this Chinese top end kit. Only because something's not round in this situation. We can check the, I mean, I think it'll still work, right? But something is not round here, whether it's the piston or the cylinder, I'm not sure. So we're at 83, let's see. Well, and there's a taper to the piston too, it looks like. Maybe that's supposed to be like that. We'll just go here, 83.9. Let's see what this is. 84, 84.5. Try the cylinder. Cylinder is 84, 84.2 that way. Let's see. 84.3 that way, maybe. Yeah. I mean, the thing is it'll fit and it'll work. It doesn't like to go the one way. But the reason I noticed this is because you can see the gap on the top, right? But if you put it this way, you can't see a gap on the top. You only have a left and right. You don't have much of a up and down, which maybe it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. I would think you want it to be round, but nonetheless, this piston goes up and down freely. So, I don't know. So, let's put the rings on it, and then we'll put this bad baby together. So you can see here how tight that ring gap is. And we might even need to trim it versus how big that other gap was. We'll put this one in here. Yeah, look at the difference of the ring gap. That's like 1/8 of an inch. This is a 13 thousandths feeler gauge, and it fits in there. I did do a 14 earlier, and a 14 was just too tight. I mean, it fit in there, but let me look up the specs on roughly an 84 millimeter bore. There's a rule of thumb. Yeah, 84.5 is what it is. Let me look up what it should be. So I just looked up on, okay, so I just went to Google, found Wasner has a calculator here, 84.5 millimeters, right? Yeah, millimeters. And then top ring, and it says we should have 13 thousandths, which is exactly what we got. Now let's do the second ring. Let's see what it says for the second ring. It says 16 thousandths, so let's check that one. Me doing that just gets the ring square in there. Okay, that sucker looks tight. Yeah, that's the 13 again. And it doesn't even want to go in. You're just gonna file it like so. And then we'll just take a little bit off and then we'll check. Okay, I took just a little bit off. Make sure there's no sharp spots. And I can tell it's more, and it doesn't look like I took it off very square. So that's the 13 we had. Let's go to our 16. 16's still pretty tight. Okay, a few things we want to do before we want to transfer over from the cylinder is a dowel pin right here. There's another dowel pin right here. And this one's also got an O-ring on it. I don't want it to come out though. It's actually not even an O-ring, it's like this rubber gasket. So I'll just move that over here. Now I don't think our kit came with that gasket. This dowel out without damaging it. Oh yeah, that sucker's in there. Okay, Now let's look at the bottom here. We don't need dowels on the bottom. In fact, we do. We got this one, which swapped right over. Now I don't know if that's an O-ring. There is another dowel here. That one came right out. We'll move this dowel to here. Should slide in just like so. Now let's go back to the top. Heard something fall out. I don't know what that was. I think we need to heat this up. Okay, I've already prepared the gasket surface, which there really wasn't much to clean off, which was awesome. There is an O-ring over here that stayed put, which maybe I take that off like that, and I can put that on the cylinder. Maybe, no, I don't know. I think it'll just hang out right there. We're just gonna use the OEM one. That way I don't have to worry. It was working before. This is what I'm using. Some people might not like it, but it protects all metals, superior lubricant, long lasting. So basically put that on all our surfaces here. And we always want to make sure that the arrow is facing towards the exhaust, unless otherwise stated. And then we'll just put that baby in there like that. So to the exhaust, that's in. Now we have to put our circlip in. All right, you're just gonna have to trust me that the clip goes in. All right, hopefully you heard that, but it is in. I mean, look at the inside of this baby. There's no sludge. When we change the oil, that water will come out. But this thing, I don't think I've seen an engine look this good. No sludge, doesn't have a bunch of gunk black in there. And we're gonna use all this go-go juice inside the cylinder. And really, this thing should slide on. The cylinder's got a bevel on the bottom. Okay, I did put the base gasket on. There's also O-ring that goes around the cylinder there, and I greased up everything just in case, for whatever reason, we have to take it back apart. Not that I anticipate that we will, but it's always nice to have an easy gasket surface to clean or, work with. Okay, I went and removed this from the other head, cleaned it up, and greased it up. Check that out. I love it. I think we can put the head on next. Okay, I got the head torqued down, and I went ahead and took the cylinder back off, and I replaced the O-ring that was on the bottom. I replaced it with the OEM one. The one that they came with was just too thick, and I didn't like the way it was seating. So I went ahead and torqued everything down. Okay, those two side Allens are tight, snugged up. Now the next thing we need to do is figure out the timing, and that's going to require us to take off this cover here, I believe. All right, I'm not sure what was fighting me so much, but you can see the T, that line is lined up. And we're lined up here on the cam gear and the cam and this mark on the head right here. So now I just gotta put this bolt back on, give it a couple ugga-duggas. Actually, don't put the ugga-duggas on yet. I put the chain tensioner in. So we'll snug this up for now. Okay, so this tensioner is a little different than the Honda ones I'm used to, which is okay. You take the bolt off here, the end cap, and it has a spring in here. And then, see how it's got this gear mechanism? You push back on the jaw right there and push it back in. And then this only goes one way. I believe it goes this way. And then we can put our bolts in. Okay, you can see I have a little form going on here to help try and build up this area where it's broken off. I wasn't able to get it to come all the way to this side, but it's better than it was, and there's been more mounting areas than there was before. So I need to put the exhaust back on, but there's this mount right here that needs to line up right there, and the head pipe's not bolted on. So I need to go ahead and put on our new cover. This is a new cover we got. I wish I kind of wanted to spray paint it with some truck bed liner, but oh well, it'll be good. I can always take it off later. But we're gonna put a little grease on this gasket to help promote a good seal. Just a little bit around the whole thing. Okay. All right, I have the bike all pressure washed up here, and I spray painted the whole front end, just keep everything from rusting any further. And I was going to just put pads on the front of this thing, but these calipers are shot in for like 28 bucks. I'll have a brand new pair coming tomorrow. Of course, they're Chinese, but anyways, I went ahead and threw this front grille back on. I did cut the sides off because the one side was broken, and the way I got the new headlights, we're not going to need those pieces. So I bolted that up, and I bolted this piece back up, and I think I can go ahead and put the front plastics back on. Okay, the phone died yesterday, so I'm not sure where we left off, but I have these just kind of dangling in there, the lights. I have the dash all hooked up, and I don't have the headlights hooked up yet. And I don't know which wires are which yet at the moment because we have no power. And we have no power because we don't have the back plastics on. So I think the next step we need to do is put the back plastics on and hook up all the wires, the battery, and then maybe we can use it, see if it starts. Okay, it's pretty much done, except for now I'm waiting on the brakes. The plastics have been all bent out of shape for so long, you know, they're not really fitting in some areas, but it's gonna be a great rider. So I got the new master cylinder on here, but I'm waiting on new brake calipers to come in. And I guess I can go ahead and take the rear differential apart, or not rear differential, but the rear brake, see what's going on there. I went ahead and put all these bolts in here. You can see I drilled, I don't know, one right there extra. And then this one, I put this plate in here just to hold everything together. And I drilled an extra one here too. And then on this side, I drilled an extra one right here because on the back side, this one's missing. So everything's looking good. I'm loving it. Definitely looks 10 million times better than it used to. It's not perfect, but if we wanted perfect, we would have bought a new four-wheeler, but this one was free. Okay, so this video has just gone on and on and on, and I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on with my voice. But anyways, this project has been taking a bunch of my time up, and went to go do the rear brakes, and I decided I needed to go ahead and redo the differential bearings. So I had the diff all apart, and of course I bought a differential bearing kit. However, I mean, it came with a pinion bearing, but it did not come with this bearing. It also did not come with this bearing, this needle bearing. The bearing kit for the differential I got came with the new seals, but it did not come with the bearings. And you have to take the bearings out to get to the seals. So I ordered a whole nother kit. And so hopefully in the next video on this machine, we'll put the differential back together, get it in the four-wheeler, take this thing for a spin, get the rear brakes going. I did get a brand new axle for it too. You just see that one. The other one was just all, the bearings came apart and chewed up the axle. So anyways, sorry that this video was a little splotchy, a little bit all over the place. This four-wheeler has literally taken, it was free, right? But it needed a lot of work. I mean, I probably have 60 to 80 hours in this thing. And it probably wouldn't take me that long normally, but trying to video everything, and there's a lot I left out in this video, just because it's just all stuff that no one really cares about, right? But the big thing is it looks way better than it did before. The engine is rebuilt. I did get it running, and it runs perfect. So in the next video, we'll wrap this thing up, and it will be done. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe. This same thing took up all my time.